Hello, everybody. My name is Meena Jawani, and I am the CEO and founder of Destination CEO, a social enterprise which supports job seekers through their career journeys. In today's episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about humbling experience. What is the humbling experience? Well, when we are in our job search journey, we do face a lot of rejection. And those rejections turn into dejections. And then we start questioning ourselves and we start thinking and overthinking and overanalyzing why we got rejected. But what we don't try to figure out is why we got rejected. And the humbling process is simply about getting started, feeling those feelings, addressing those feelings, understanding why, and then solving those situations. With me today is our marketing manager, and he himself is a 19-year-old Sheridan College student who has experienced similar situations, has addressed the blocks, and has moved forward. So I want to introduce to everybody Mason Khan.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Mason. Thank you so much for joining our podcast and producing our pilot podcast. Mason has a lot of experience listening to podcasts, and he also runs his own podcast. But today, he's helping me and Destination CEO launch our very first podcast. So, Mason, I wanted to talk about how you started your career journey. I remember you were 15 and you were itching to get to work and, start making some money. Um, did you face any of these situations, the humbling process we're talking about?
Most definitely. I feel like when it comes to jobs, it's always about emotion. Emotion is what leads us, what drives us to do things. When we first start out, we're so full of drive and full of passion to want to do something that, anything seems possible, the hardships, whatever, we can just overlap them. But once we start facing those actual hardships, our morale starts to get low. And the morale is what drops our passion to actually continue to force ourselves to move ourselves into, like, let's say if I wanted to get a job interview, I got rejected 2 times and my heart's broken, right? I don't want to do that again. I want to put myself through that. So what do you feel? How do you think people can overcome that feeling of, oh, I'm going to get rejected anyways, why should I even try, why should I put all this effort if I'm just going to get rejected? What do you feel? How do you think about that?
That's true. Rejection does cause some severe stress and sad emotions. So, what did you do, Mason? How did you handle those emotions?
Mainly my mentors, specifically Mina Dalwani. She's very helpful. She understands all everyone's needs, and she's able to, fantastically just help me throughout everything. Most of my problems, I see her answering phone calls all day, helping people out with their problems. She's basically a counselor at this point. Now we're finding a way to get her paid for it. So.
Thank you, Mason. Thank you for helping me with that.
But yeah, I would say definitely find someone else just to talk it out, just to, because when we keep things inside, it festers and it becomes even worse if we're feeling, self-conscious about our job, about our looks, about, that, oh, I'm not going to get this job. Why do I even care? Get a second opinion, because maybe someone else thinks differently. Maybe your friend thinks, no, you're not terrible. You're actually really good. You speak well, you dress nice, you have so much experience. So it's all because, in all honesty, we're our own worst enemy. We always judge ourselves, we always push ourselves down, but to get that second opinion from someone else really is very helpful. So you never know, you might be the greatest job seeker in the world. You just got to find out, you just got to ask more people.
So, at the age of 15, Mason, I remember that there are only a few companies that hire 15-year-olds to work.
Hmm.
and you applied for some of those companies and you got rejected. And then we re strategized, didn't we?
Yes, ma'am.
And you reached out to somebody, a friend of yours working at Cineplex, and you applied with their reference. So references really mean a lot.
Definitely, definitely.
So what happened once you applied at Cineplex?
I got the job. I got the interview. We did the group interview. That's basically where they just see how well you can, mingle with other people. How you're doing well with talking to people. And I got hired that day.
Congratulations. That was a pretty good start, wasn't it?
I was pretty good. I was pretty good.
Awesome. Yes, if you are, if you're just starting your career as a teenager, you want to start making some money, you're applying, and not getting a job, I guess, talk to your friends, talk to the people around you, and find out where they're working and ask them if they can be your references.
And if they're not working, get new friends.
Expand your network, you mean?
Sure.
And now let's talk about, so that's when you're graduating or when you're in high school. Now let's talk about as you go through your career journey and you're graduating from a college or a university. As a new grad, what are some of the challenges that you face? So, Mason, recently we had Ali who faced similar challenges. He's also another very close friend of ours who graduated from film and television and was struggling to get his first job. Ali was challenged because he didn't have a network. So he started building his network. He started talking to his faculty, his professors, his his job placement coordinator, his associate dean, got some leads, started applying. I remember his first job, and that was quite interesting. Ali's actually working in the college where he is continuing to complete his bachelor's degree. He sent them an application, a regular application as requested online through the whole online resume cover letter process, and he didn't receive a response. He waited for a couple of weeks, and then he decided to do what he's best at, was to create a video on 7 reasons why Ali would be the best videographer for the college for that particular job. And within hours he got a call for an interview, and the same week he was offered a job. So I think that was pretty interesting. I was addressing a block, right?
Yes, and definitely. I feel like when we come out of school, we have so many expectations of what we're supposed to do because we feel like, oh, I take these 4 years of college, maybe 5 years, maybe even 10 years of college or university, and we feel that we should already be in a job as soon as we step out. And that's the biggest thing, which Mina will continue, is setting your expectations to know what you should be getting into.
So when you are struggling and you're not receiving, you're doing the online applications like everybody else, and you're not getting a response, you need to try to figure out why. What are the what are the blocks? What are the reasons that you may not be getting a response? Is it that you're not taking the time to customize your application? Is it that, perhaps the companies that you're applying to are too large and receiving too many applications? Is it that the applicant tracking system is screening out your resumes? I mean, what's stopping you to do something different? For example, pick up the phone and call the company. Or, like in Ali's case, just create a video or a portfolio of why you would be the best candidate for the position. Or in Mason's case, find a reference within that organization and ask them to refer you. So there are many ways and means of getting past that that initial screening step. Um, I remember when I came to Canada and I started my career journey. This was almost 2 decades ago. I got rejected for the position I applied for. So I thought, okay, what do I do? And I met with this amazing person, Tina Walzak. She is a career counselor at the region of Peel. And she told me about volunteering. Now, see, I came from the Middle East, and volunteering isn't something that is very popular or even known, at least 20 years ago. So when Tina asked me to ask this nonprofit organization if I could volunteer within that organization, I obviously didn't know the concept. Why should somebody work without money, or without getting paid? But then I thought, let's give it a shot. I need to get some Canadian experience. I need to understand the Canadian landscape. Because in those days, employers could reject you, for not having Canadian experience. Nowadays, it's against the law. You cannot be rejected for not having Canadian experience. So I reached out to the manager and I asked her if I could volunteer a couple of days a week so that they can learn more about my experience. Because yes, I did not have Canadian experience, but I did have transferable skills that would benefit and be an asset to that company. So I volunteered there, and I volunteered with the Ministry of Community and Social Services. And at the end of the first 3 weeks, um, I was able to receive a full time permanent offer from that nonprofit that I volunteered at and from the government. So try to find out, how you can overcome the barriers that you have. So once you've addressed those blocks that are blocking you towards your career goals, next you need to create an action plan, a real action plan, in where in which you can start listing the names of the people that work in those organizations that you want to work for. Look up LinkedIn, try to connect with those people, ask them for guidance, try to meet with them for coffee chats. There are amazing, amazing resources out there online that you can use. One resource, of course, is LinkedIn. Reach out to people and ask them for informational interviews. Another interesting one is 10,000 Coffees, where a lot of senior professionals want to do quick coffee chats and provide guidance and mentorship. Um, of course, the best of the best is Destination CEO's 6 week job search express bridging program, where we already have a group of mentors that are working with job seekers and helping you achieve your career goals. If you want to learn more about Destination CEO, please come to our website or connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Meena Dolwani, Dowlwani. Look up destinationceo.ca and reach out to us, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much. Once again, in conclusion, look at the blocks that are blocking you from achieving your career goal and create a fantastic, strong, bulletproof, solution focused action plan. Thank you again for joining me for the first episode of the Career Corner. I hope you enjoyed and took something from this. If you would like to talk about or hear about any specific topics in our Career Corner, please comment below. Please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. I am Meena Dolwani from Destination CEO. And remember, be the CEO of your destiny. Thank you.